Welcome to the Hog Market Talk Podcast, your weekly deep dive into hog market fundamentals, breaking news, and industry insights. Trading commodity futures and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors.
All right, today is May 13th. I've got Luke with us here today. How's it going, Luke?
Yeah, it's going really good, Mike. How are you doing today?
Awesome. It's, I deal a lot in the grain space and outside markets, so this is a very active, fun week for the grain station and in our group.
Yeah, a lot going on for sure. And
Yeah.
also, I'll tell you, yesterday, it was really windy, right? Strong northwest wind. But you know what was nice about that northwest wind? It was a warm northwest wind.
It
right?
was warm.
So let's say we got some warming coming, and this is the Hog Podcast. We're talking about meat demand and grilling season, and just need a little more activity. And a theme. I mean, this spring is wrapping up. We're getting here to this summer, and it's a good thing, man. Makes us happy.
That it is. So we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about how many of these animals are sitting around here today. We're going to talk about demand a little bit. We're going to just talk about seasonals and how the futures are reacting, some of those sides. But first, I want to start with the grain markets here. I want to just walk through this week and all of the huge events happening from a seasonal perspective right now.
It's a big week for grain complex.
It's a big week. So in the grain complex here, just if I wanted to look at the just the timeline that Cade's got up here, and this is happening, this timeline, at a time of the year when we've got near record fund longs and corn, soybeans, wheat. We've got a lot of long positions in these grains at a time of the year that we normally put in things like weather premium, and the market really gets traded and volatile. We just finished up planning. It's a little dry through the Southwest Corn Belt. Like, things are happening in the grain space. So this week in particular has been and is massive. We're straight in the middle of this thing. You had Planning Progress Monday, which is big because that report historically, you look after May 10th, if corn's not planted, you start to take yield off. Right. Now, planting progress was great last week, so we fully got caught up. Tuesday, you had the WASDE report for the grains, which is big, and then you had the CPI report that morning, which was also big. Now, on the WASDE side, what we saw was wheat came out at the lowest U.S. wheat production we've had since 1972, winter wheat since like 57. A big miss for production estimates out of the United States on wheat, which it should have been expected. Like, we knew there's a wheat problem.
Right.
Most wheat in a drought production-wise since 22. We've got all these problems in the Southwest Corn Belt. People are spraying wheat, killing it, planting corn or milo instead, et cetera. So it makes sense that you had a miss on it. But we traded a limit yesterday across a lot of these wheat complexes, up 45 cents. So it piled in. You saw corn and soybeans kind of rally off that as well. Oil rallied lately as well because the ceasefire looks even more fragile than what fragile was before. And then, if I look at the rest of the week here, our trade is going to shift from trading a little bit more of oil, which we've had an 81% correlation between corn and crude oil lately, the strongest in the ag markets. Now you're going to shift towards Trump landed in Beijing this morning here. Mm-hmm. They're going to talk tonight about 8 our time, and that's going to dominate the headlines here till the rest of the week. So the rumor on the street is if it's good news, you're going to hear by close Friday. If it's bad news, you're probably going to wait till the weekend to find most details out about what happens. Now, I want to kind of transition from the grains and these outside markets and the reports using yesterday and today's data coming out from the CPI and PPI, which both came out hotter than anticipated. And a big part of that was, one, energy. Obviously, we're spending $1.30 more on gas than we did last year at this time for the national average.
It's very real. Feel it at the pump, right?
Feel it at the pump. But the thing they mentioned right after that, like when I was watching Bloomberg yesterday when they were talking about the CPI report, inflation, they talked about its energy and its beef. And the fact that they said beef second in that, I feel like when I looked at the market and then you saw the rest of the day, we basically traded red and red and red. And it started off the day pretty nice because the deal that Trump said he was going to cut or delay, he was going to get rid of the additional tariff quota on beef. He was going to delay that or whatever because it was supposed to take effect Monday. That kind of helped for a little bit, but they're like, yeah, we're still going to do it. It's just we're finalizing it.
Sure.
Then it really wrecked the market. So this This administration has a problem with inflation. Trump can't cut interest rates until he has inflation under control, and that's oil and that's beef. So right now he's saying we're going to import some beef. Don't want to import too much because we still need packing plants here. We need food security. Like, we don't want to rile this thing up too bad to where we lose food security. But we need these beef prices to go lower. That's just not conducive to, you have a ton of managed money longs in this meat market still. They've been getting out of a little bit here and there, especially in even the hog side.
Right.
Luke.
Filled it in the hogs for sure.
Yeah, it's been pulling back each week, not like all at once, but you can see just even when you line up a futures chart, you can just see it slowly exiting the building. But that brings me into the hog market here. We're at a seasonal time frame where normally at some point you wake up one morning and it just goes. And we're not there yet, are we?
We're not quite there yet, but then again, it's not that normal. I mean, let's talk about health again, right? And you can let health dominate the discussion, right? And whenever I talk about health, like we're looking at year over year comparisons. Health was also bad a year ago, right? But it's been bad this year. Actually, just in the last 10 days, especially up here in our country, Western Minnesota, Eastern South Dakota, it is really hot. There's been some breaks and whatnot. The wean pig market is insatiable. Wean pig market should be falling because we're going off the Deese contract. It's not. And so there's lots of things going on here, right? And so that like kind of all blends into the market. I think though that, we got a lot of optimism early, and they thought maybe the health hole would start a little earlier, like earlier into May, and it just hasn't. We've had plenty of pigs seasonally adjusted, and it's kept the front end of this curve just flat, specifically on the meat side, right? And so we've been around this 245, and I talked about spring here coming to summer. 245, that's a spring kill. It's a spring price, right? 24 and under, which is coming. That's a summer.
And that's
kill.
what we had last year, right? It was like 239 this week last year. Something.
Nah, not quite. It's shift. That's the thing is it's usually the end of May. It's usually right around Memorial Day, right? So it's coming in, this week 245, next week 241. Those are still hefty production runs, right?
Yep.
And so, but the market sees this, but basis should be like $4 or $5 negative here. I think Cade's got a chart. He'll maybe flip up on that. We're trading like a $9, $10 basis. The read from that is there's a lot of premium relative to today's spot fundamentals in the market. The market wants to move higher. We got to get to these lower kills, which are coming. But it's still got to stay checked into lower reality. So what are leading indicators? Cutout drives this market. We all know that, right? But cash is a leading indicator. Usually in the spring, the cash is going to come a little quicker than the cutout. The index is around 90, Mike. It's not a high, it's around 90, not a bad price. 90 works really well for our businesses, right? But cash hogs, again, this week, 95, 96, 96.50 got paid. Supply's tight, right? And packers are needing that supply. But again, every time we rally this thing up, that basis just widens out. June's got to kind of check in. So that's why you've got this volatility up front. You've had this little lower trade, right? But today we're having a really good board day today. We got June up 230 as we talk, July up $1.57. And I think what's coming into the trade and getting talked about here just a little bit more is packers, they're always pretty good about managing their summer supply. And when we talk about summer, it's managing their Friday schedules, right? Their Monday to Friday schedule. We don't need Saturdays when we're into 2.4 and sub 2.4 seasonally adjusted kills. But usually you got one or two packers that are always every year really good at it. But we're hearing about multiple packers already starting to pare down and adjust their summer kill schedules, right? And that's because we're going to drop seasonally, and then you've got the health variable on it, right? Coming into it, you've got high beef prices, like you said. Pork is a great value proposition in there. Pork's done a great job in demand. Other ways we can cook pork, use pork, ground pork. Pork is an ingredient and whatnot. So, as we look at this thing, we continue to have some optimism moving into this market. The board does too. It just needs that front end to kick to really fire it back up. And where this thing's positioned, I think we're in a good spot. We got some really good things looking ahead for us here, Mike.
So should I be concerned? Because at some point here, I do think you'll find less pigs, and I think you will get cut out to move higher, and belly's been a problem on that lately, which I think eventually that'll be fixed.
There's a few too many bellies around here. And and problem is That's the right way to describe it. It's not a disaster problem. And bellies should take care of themselves as we move into
That's the
summer.
thing. They're going to eventually fix themselves.
But that's just the thing. It's when we talk about the meat trade, it's like nobody's like, yeah, meat's in trouble. The pork cutout's in trouble. It's just not hot yet, right? And we just went through Mother's Day. You know, we've had this up and down temperature, right? We're still been around these 2, 4, 5 kills. We need the temperature to turn. It looked like it get more people out grilling. We need to get down Memorial Day, get down to those 2-4 sub 2-4 kills, and then I think everybody feels in the trade it's going to pick up. Then it's just we get 500,000 pigs off the market each week. That's a big deal, right?
So how? That's the thing. So probably I think at least eventually we'll get into that. How much more down can this thing? Because that's the question, right? Like how much do we tear off before we come back? On this thing.
Yeah, I think we'll ebb and flow a little bit here. And I mean, of course, I think the June's the one that you're going to see, if there's some down pressure, and not that the July and August won't cover it, right? But I mean, cutout needs to respond for June to hold this kind of premium to it. And yeah, I mean, we do have 4 weeks left, right? So it's not like we don't have time and whatnot, but it's, it's just that June's got to kind of be tethered to that. And the cash is, for cash, cash has been $1.50 higher, right? We need that week when cash rips $4 or $5, right? We need that week when cutout rips $4 or $5, and I don't think this is the week cutout rips, right? I mean, and I'm not sure it's next week, but you get through Memorial Day, good weather, get into lower supply, things can change in a hurry, and history shows that, right? So, and the board sees that. It needs, as you've mentioned, there's been lots of spot for money to go. And the grains, the oils, the energies, and and cattle have been getting a lot of the money. And hogs have been shedding a little bit of contract, just kind of building up and waiting. But when it turns, I think we're in for a nice little recovery here. I like the way the pork is structured. I also, further out, we're optimistic, and we talked about just continuing health challenges here. I mean, that bodes well not only for July and August, but October, December, maybe even the February contract. That I'm a little ahead of myself. But the hog market sees optimism. We need to keep our sow herd around and stable and right now. And you go, I mean, next April's trading 90, 60. Next May's trading like 93.40. That's higher than where we expired this year, right? So the fur outboard still is offering some nice floor levels as well, right? That we need to kind of look at it. You have a $92 or $93 floor. That also works really well for our business next summer, right?
That it does. All right. Any other final thoughts before we hop off?
Yeah, I just keep coming, keep rolling. I think we want to switch a little bit to World Pork Expo coming up here soon. That's be the last thing I'd throw out. So huge event. Everybody in the pork industry knows about this. If you don't come in, it's June 3rd and 4th in Des Moines, Iowa. A great event, well attended, lots of people, lots of fun, lots of technology, lots of interaction there. So want you guys all to come to that. We've got our staple, our hospitality tent, same spot as always, tent G420, but we've upgraded this year. And so we've always had really good participation and people spending time with us. And we wanted to take it just a little bit level higher. And so right behind our tent, Jalapeno Pete's, those that go to the Iowa State Fair would know that place well. We're gonna have a party, Mike. It's gonna start around 3:30 and it's gonna go well into the evening. We're gonna call it Fiesta Day Pig. It's open to customers, friends, allied industry. Really want to get the word out and really celebrate the pork industry and have some fun celebrating this delicious product we all work so hard to make, Mike.
Well, I know I'm going to be there. I can't wait. We're going to host some shows live from the tent as well. Kate, I have some guests on as well. So please, if you're a fan of the show, tune into that. Stop by. You might get interviewed though. So no promises there. But all right. Thank you for your time, everybody. Please click the link on the description below to get the daily market commentary and other fascinating marketing info that we send out each and every day. Please go to our website as well and check that out at professionalagmarketing.com.